Okay, I'm going to try not to make y'all seasick because I'm holding this and my arms are very weak because I'm a weak old man. Take a look at the next shelf. We start with Cyberpunk. This is the box set for, I believe it's the Cyberpunk, I think it was 2013, the original. I don't know if the material in it is actually the original. It might be a Cyberpunk 2020 book. I can't remember. I acquired this secondhand along with some other stuff, and it was sort of a hodgepodge. But then I do have the Cyberpunk 2020 rules. I'm not sure which edition this is, because I remember when Seth Skorkowski was talking about his version of it, he had adventures in his that I didn't have, which was a little annoying. So I think I may have an earlier version than he had. Let's see. The easy mode, this was from Free RPG Day. This is for Cyberpunk 2077, or I'm sorry, Cyberpunk Red, the more up-to-date Cyberpunk RPG that's recently come out. This is apparently kind of replacing the box set, because I guess some rules changed between the box set and when the new book actually came out. I didn't pick up the box set for various reasons, so I don't know. But I have the easy mode, and then I actually have Cyberpunk Red, which I bought on Free RPG Day, because you should always buy something if you can on Free RPG Day. Let's see, a couple of interface magazines. This was the old Cyberpunk magazine. And then multiple supplements. Some of them are really early ones, like Rocker Boy, Solo of Fortune, Hardware, right? Yeah, Hardwired, based on the book. Near Orbit. I can speak. I actually learned how to speak once. I'm out of practice. Night's Edge, which is like mixing vampires and horror with your cyberpunk. I don't think I'm ever going to do that, so that's one that I might get rid of at some point. When Gravity Fails, this is another one based on a book. Night City, the source book for the city that's sort of the default setting for cyberpunk. I believe it's kind of like Greater LA, but I think there's more to it than that. Land of the Free, this is an overall, oh no, this was the campaign. A mega adventure for cyberpunk. I believe it involves traveling from like California to Texas or something. Home of the Brave, this is the source book for like the rest of America, or the sort of the center of the country anyway, I think. Neo Tribes, in case you want to do your Mad Max style gaming. Live and Direct for your media. Protect and Serve for your police. Apparently in Cyberpunk's future, they're still supposed to protect and serve, unlike in our current reality. Eurosource Plus, this is obviously European source book. Deep Space, this is the follow-up to the earlier Near Orbit. I can't remember anything. Listen up, you primitive screwheads. I did a review of this on the blog at one point. It's got a lot of cool, helpful hints for running the game from various people who have run the game. It's kind of like, I know Call of Cthulhu, they just put out a thing recently about that where it's like Keeper's Advice. And this is basically advice for Cyberpunk GMs. I don't know that it's not worth tracking down for the price that I think I saw it on. If you can get a PDF, it's fine. But it feels like it's very much a bunch of blog entries that have been collected together into a book, and I feel like you could probably find the information on various blogs, or just watch Seth Skorkowski's videos. He's got some great advice. I've got the corporate books. I think they only did 3. Oh, I have a map. I think they only did 3 of these corporate books, which I think covered like 6 total corporations. I would have loved to have seen more. And then the Chrome books. These are for when you need lots and lots of more gadgets and technology. There's 4 of those. Okay, I guess that ends my Cyberpunk 2020. We'll move on to a game that I've always been intrigued by but never actually played, Twilight 2000. I know there's a new version from Free League which has been tempting me, but again, in I don't know how long, since the 80s I've been gaming and I have never actually played, so can I justify buying a new edition? Not yet, I can't. Merc 2000... I actually don't even know what this is. I think I acquired this in a collection. I mean, obviously it's something to do with Twilight 2000. Oh, this is adding some horror to your Twilight 2000 game. We'll move on to another game I've owned for a long time and never played. In fact, at one time, I think I owned 6 or 8 different editions of Traveller. I don't even know how. I used to acquire people's collections sometimes, and so I would end up with stuff that I couldn't always explain. And I really can't explain why I had so many different versions of Traveller. I donated a bunch of them to a home for troubled teens, so hopefully they're less troubled and more Traveller. Well, I don't know. I don't know what happened after that, but I did donate them because I wasn't ever going to use them. And that's the thing. To this day, I have never played Traveller. In, again, 30-plus years of gaming, I have never played Traveller. And then here we go, Traveller New Era. This is the much-hated, but I still find somewhat intriguing, spin-off of Traveller. It's kind of like the, what do you call it, like the Halloween 3 or the Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It's sort of the one that everybody tries to forget happened, but here it is. Anyway, I've got that. I remember reading through it a little bit. Seemed fine, but again, never played Traveller. Don't know. Don't understand all of that Traveller business. 2300 AD. This is much more my speed. It's sort of a near future. I think a lot about Alien. If you skip the sort of horror side of it, it's that kind of lived-in, blue-collar sci-fi. So I have a bunch of stuff for that, for 2300. A bunch of adventures and source books that I have acquired over time. It's not all of them, but it's a good bit of the original run of the game. I know that, I think it's Mongoose has put out a new version of it, which I have not acquired. And again, because I have never played or run it, I can't really justify buying a new edition. So here it sits. I'm giving a lot of thought to, I think I mentioned in a previous video, using Alien to run 2300 AD. I think that the two mesh together very well, and so I'm thinking about that, but that's for the future. Speaking of some other games I have that I've had for a long time and have never tried, Cyberspace. This is ICE, so this is, I think, the Rollmaster system, which I'm not even going to get into. I have some stuff, some more stuff for that. What is this? Space Time. Honestly, don't even know what that is. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. Living Steel. This was a setting that I always found really interesting, and I have a couple of supplements for it. From what I understand, it's basically unplayable. I think you have to be like an MIT whiz to even be able to understand the rules. I always thought the setting was really cool, and I remember at one time I had plans to try to mesh the setting in as one of the Lost Worlds for a Fading Suns game that I was running, which is what I was going to do with Talislanta, I think. No, that's not right. With Empire of the Petal Throne and Skyrealms of Jurun, I was thinking about using them as Lost Worlds and Fading Suns for people to come across, but it just never happened. Even though I ran the game for 2 years, it never came up. So here we have something that's pretty weird for me, for my shelves. I've got the starter set and the essential set for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. They were very cheap, and I had a friend who really tried to get me into the new D&D, and I have said for years I was never going to play D&D again. I have not enjoyed the game anytime I have ever played it. People will always say, oh, it's the people, it's not the rules. I have played the game with groups that I have played many other games with and enjoyed. I really dislike Dungeons & Dragons. I don't like the way it plays. I don't like the rules. There's something about it that just does not work for me, and it's hard for people to seemingly accept that, but that's the way it is. So I ended up picking these up in the hopes that maybe I would be able to break through that and play in this game, because, you know, it's hard to find anything other than Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder out these days. It sucked. I didn't like it. I really hate these rules. That said, I have taken the adventures from both of these books, and I'm reworking them into Dungeon Crawl Classics to run for a friend, with the idea that maybe at some point I will try running an open-ended, long-term Dungeon Crawl Classics game for maybe some young people, I don't know, some new gamers, something like that. And I think about using the 2 adventures from this as a basis to build off of, because it has like a cool town and a lot of like side quests and adventures, and I think it could be pretty handy. We'll see if that works out. So in between there, I think I mentioned in a previous video that I have some old Judges Guild stuff, including the original City State of the Invincible Overlord. This got so much use from me when I first got into gaming. I used this so much. This and the Wraith Overlord, which is the sort of sewer system and underground of the city-state, I used so much. We had so many urban adventures and digging around in the basement. That was like very cool. Here's just some village maps, also from Judges Guild. Let's see, what's this? Oh, the free RPG Day Dark Tower. I don't have the Dark Tower thing. I don't know. There's definitely Dungeons & Dragons stuff, adventures and things that I have enjoyed and that I can lift ideas from for other games. It's just the actual game that I just don't enjoy, and I'm sorry, folks, it's not going to change. Bridge of the Duergar. This was another free RPG Day thing. Yeah, and then we get to the essentials, and that's it for this shelf. All right. Well, I'll be back with another shelf at some point, so take care, y'all.